All right, here we are. We're watching Hurricane Florence. She's now about 65 miles east-southeast of Wilmington, North Carolina. But the effects are starting to be felt. Let's go to someone who is literally chasing this storm. Reed Timmer. He's at Topsail Beach in North Carolina. Reed, they say it topsail, but what do you care? You're getting pelted out there. Give us the latest. I don't hear him. All right, tell Reed to get back inside so he's not getting beat up like that. Let's go to Anderson Cooper. When we get Reed Timmer's sound back up, you know how it is with communications during these hurricanes. Some people you can hear, some people you can't. I don't want to just leave him out there soaking, thinking that he's being heard, Anderson, when he's just getting punished by the beginning of this hurricane. Now, you've had what they're calling a signature experience of Florence, which is, hey, it's not that bad. And then comes the rain, and then bands have a lot of time between them, and that's all about the pace of the storm, right?
Yeah, and I think there's a lot of people right now, and I've been talking to people who've come up over the last, hours or so, who kind of think, maybe this thing isn't going to be that bad, and certainly let's hope that's the case. But I think this is really deceptive. I mean, this is, we're so used to paying attention to what category it is, Cat 4, Cat 3, it's now a Cat 2, but this is really, as you've been talking about, going to be a long event. We're talking about days, 24, 36 hours of just nonstop rain, constant rain, and that storm surge. They're, in Wilmington, as you know, Chris, they're expecting 8 months worth of rain over the next 3 days. It's an extraordinary amount, and they've already had a huge amount of rain all year long. So it's really the last thing they need. Plus, with that storm surge on the river, like Cape Fear River here behind me, which they're expecting, it could be a record storm surge, record levels of the river beating what it was back in 1999 with Hurricane Floyd. It was more than 23 feet above normal. So they're expecting it to go higher than that. So, this is going to be a multi-day event, and this is really just the beginning. We are so in the early hours of this, and I think a lot of people haven't been through a storm like this that lasts for this amount of time and moves so slowly and is as big as this one is, Chris.
Duration and delay. So if we're looking at like 30 hours of some form of major storm / hurricane type activity, then you get into that function of, how long until the first responders can get out there and start dealing with the power outages in places like New Bern and Morehead City, and how long until they can start getting out to help those in distress, especially the people who decided to stay behind. I mean, I keep hearing, what are you hearing up there, Anderson? I hear from the officials down here, 30 miles an hour, 50 miles an hour, first responders have to stay in. And we're hearing they could have wind conditions like that for 12 to 20 hours.
Yeah. And also with all this water on the ground, I mean, that's a huge concern, as you know, for people driving out there. Power lines are down. There's going to be a lot of water on the ground in a lot of different areas. The mayor of Wilmington, I talked to him earlier tonight, he was talking about 20, 30, 40 inches of rain coming down. They're expecting, a lot of water on the ground, and it's going to be on the ground for days. The river here, they're not expecting it to reach its peak until about Tuesday, which just gives you a sense of the kind of time frame we're looking at here for water on the ground, no electricity in a lot of areas. It's just going to be really uncomfortable, I think, for a lot of people, and people are going to be tempted to try to, get outside, to try to drive around, to stretch their legs, to just kind of, walk their pets and not be stir crazy. But officials are saying, look, please, stay inside, stay close to home. Do not be out wandering. There's just a lot of danger. You don't know what's underneath that water, how deep it may be in some areas.
Yeah, look, and you just have a lot of vulnerability. Everybody's always known that about the Carolina coast. We learned it in depth during Hurricane Hugo, that it changed the topography of this place. Where we are here, what do they call this whole coastline again, Brian? The Grand Strand is what they call all these beaches down the Carolina coast here, with all the beautiful high-rises and the hotels. They dumped so much sand here to build it up 5 feet. it doesn't even deal with the normal high tide. There's pooling about 50 yards from the homes here, Anderson. So if that's just normal tidal activity and its saturation point, what is an indicator of extreme vulnerability? So let's take a break here right now. I'll check back with you in a little bit when you get that next band of weather. We have the storm chaser, Reed Timmer. We're trying to reconnect with him. We have correspondents all up and down. There's been a lot of activity. We've just put together the most recent pictures for you, and we'll show you the current path of Florence and the latest on the damage right after this break.